Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. Well, this is the pre-match Burnley video, and what I did was I got hold of Scott, who's doing a charity event run from Turf Moor to the Etihad on Saturday, and thankfully, and a big massive thank you to Scott, he sent us through some questions, and we've sent through questions as we always do on the channel to opposition teams and fans who want to join in. So yeah, it's been a mad. We've had emails back and forth, WhatsApp messages back and forth. My phone died on me yesterday morning first thing, so it's been an absolute nightmare. Finally just had an arrival about an hour ago of my new XS. And so, yeah, trying to set that up and get all the passwords back in and contact Scott and get the videos sent through has been, yeah, it's been a mad rush. So, but anyway, here we go. These are my questions to Scott, and these are the replies to Scott's questions about Manchester City. So, my first question was, as a Burnley fan, you must be excited about being in the Europa League. How's this gone down with Burnley fans this season?
Big thanks to Andy from Man City Fan TV for giving me the opportunity to come on, talk about Burnley and the Runaway Challenge. I'll get straight into the questions. Okay, here's my answers to Andy's 6 questions. I'm lucky enough to get 6, not 5. So here we go. As a Burnley fan, you must be excited about being in the Europa League. How's this gone down with Burnley fans this season? The initial reaction was just elation, total elation. Everyone was ecstatic, and I think we're all still ecstatic that we got there. But there was some apprehension about how we'd do, especially how we'd do in the Premier League, considering that we had such a skeleton squad and we got a couple of injuries, etc. So I think when we got knocked out, there was, at least on the quiet, there was quite a bit of relief, I think, in the club, but also in the fans. And for me, I was also relieved. I think everybody who wanted to go and have that massive away day in Europe got to go, went and enjoyed themselves, have a great time, flew the flag, etc. So, you know, that was beyond our wildest dreams, which we could never have expected last year. So everyone was happy, had a good time, played pretty okay-ish. So it is what it is, and now we can crack on. I think the season's started for us now. We've got some points on the board, so yeah, happy days. Number 1, City, pretty much invincible right now. If you were a visiting manager coming to play at the Etihad this weekend, what weaknesses would you point out to your players to exploit in order to get a victory?
We get asked that question quite a lot in the pre-match interviews, and sort of saying, where's your weakness? It's really difficult because from one week to another, we don't seem to do quite well for City fans, and then we go, oh, the weakness is here, the weakness is there, and then next week it all changes around under Pep, and suddenly we go, Pep's a genius, he sorted it out. So it's very difficult. It's really hard. I mean, one thing, you know, we can say the playing big balls into the box is not preferable for us, but we seem to have coped quite well with that type of approach. Sitting back, hitting us on the counter, well, you know, we've done all right with that as well. We had the biggest challenge against Liverpool, who are going to be our biggest rivals, I think, this season. Dominated the game. Even though, sorry, apologies, I need to put my new phone on silent. Not quite used to it yet. Spent all morning bloody updating passwords and everything else because my phone died yesterday. So, yeah, so it's a difficult one. I don't know. I think if we play the likes of Ben Mendy and he gets too far forward, then there's always the opportunity of getting around the back of him. And that's the same with Zinchenko. I think Delph is a bit more defensive minded and sort of more solid at the back. So Kyle Walker, I think it don't really matter because he's got such pace that he can get back anyway. So I would say it depends on who our left back is and what formation we play. Do we play 3, sort of 5-2, or do we play 4, standard 4-3-3? And if our left back gets forward, maybe there's opportunities there. But I don't mean to sound big-headed, but it's difficult. It's really hard to look at weaknesses within the team. So I hope that answers your question. My second question to Scott was Sean Dyche, colourful character and done a great job for you guys. Reached his limit at Burnley? Worried he may be poached by a bigger team?
Question 2. Right, reading again. Sean Dyche, colourful character and done a great job for you guys. Reached his limit with Burnley? Question mark. Worried he may be poached by a bigger team? For sure, definitely colourful character. Don't think he's reached his limit with us. He's a believer and he believes in many things, which is hard work and team spirit and good tactical football. So I don't think we have reached our limit, you know. I mean, our limit might be the top 7, but as far as unfortunately playing a bit better football than we play, no, I don't think he's reached his limit. He hasn't quite had the money he's wanted yet, so the limit might be getting a few more key players in and having a better team and playing a little bit better football than we tactically need to at times. So are we worried to get poached? Of course we are, and I think it's inevitable eventually will, but Sean Dyche has got pretty much the keys to the kingdom at Burnley, and he's done a good job with them. The training facilities are great. He can rule the roost. He's got a good relationship seemingly with the board. So yeah, again, can't complain, but all things will come to an end eventually. But will we regret that? No, we've got a pub named after him, so what do we want? Joe Hart has been undoubtedly a massive surprise and a massive success for Burnley so far this season. And the last 2 seasons, Nick Pope and Tom Heaton have also been a massive success. If City have to sign one English player from Burnley in the next year, which one would it be? Pope, Heaton or Hart?
Well, I'm a massive fan of Nick Pope. I've said it all along. I think Pope is a wonderful, wonderful goalkeeper. So I love Joe Hart. I mean, what he did for Man City was incredible. But I think Pope, for me, I think I did a video, was it the beginning of, or the end of last season, where I broke down the stats of the best goalkeepers statistically in the Premier League, and Pope was second behind shot saves from De Gea last season. Everything else, he was the top. He was the highest in the percentages. So Nick Pope for me is a wonderful goalkeeper, and if I had to take one of the 3 right now, even though we've got Muric as our backup, I'd take Pope every day of the week out of the 3 of them. Yeah, you're very lucky. You've got Joe Hart, seasoned pro. You've got obviously you've got Heaton, Tom Heaton, and you've got Nick Pope. So you're blessed, really. It'd be Pope for me, and I'd even go as far as to say Pope should be England's number 1. I know Pickford had a good game the other night, but I think Pope's an exceptional goalkeeper, and will no doubt go on to be your number 1 goalkeeper. I think he's a wonderful goalkeeper, a wonderful talent, and let's see him in the next few years for England. My third question to Scott was, realistically, where do you think you're going to finish this season?
3. Where are we going to realistically finish this season? I think that's a really good question. I don't think we'll finish in the top 7. I don't think most Burnley fans or even Dyche players will actually finish in the top 7 again. But I think realistically, finishing the top, the top 12 is possible. And as we know, it's kind of like, I think last year finishing in the top 7, realistically, we were the top of the league in the second league of the Premier League, if you will, and the top six is a different league on its own. So I think we finished top of the second division of the Premier League, if you will. And I think this season it's a bit different how it will play out. But I think we'll be there or thereabouts. I think we'll be sort of challenging for that mid-table and probably, up to the top echelons of the second division of the Premier League again. Oh, very simple one. Main Road or the Etihad?
Question 3. Main Road or the Etihad, and why? It's always a difficult one. Main Road, I grew up with Main Road. Scott, it was brought back so many memories for me, being a Withy lad and going with my dad in 1977 and my uncle standing in that corner stand, being passed around on shoulder to shoulder with people I didn't even know, and as a 7-year-old thinking, my God, this is absolutely incredible, love it, what's going on? I didn't know what was going on. And then being fortunate to get in for free through various ways, turnstiles, walls, things like that, and just fell in love with the place. The atmosphere was absolutely incredible. As a young kid, it was just amazing. Main Road for me, I ended up living very close by on one of the roads that were that led out from the entrance to Main Road, Horton Road, and I used to see all the fans, away fans as well, travelling down the street when I was living there, just only for a short period of time. And I used to run out, and I'd be like 18 years of age and sort of walking with them, chatting with them, and walking down the alleyways and having a bit of banter with them and whatever else. And Main Road was special. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It was absolutely special. The atmosphere was incredible. I saw the 5-1. I was there at the 5-1 against United, and it was just an unbelievable atmosphere. And but times move on. The stadium was a shithole, if I'm honest with you. I mean, it was awful. And from season tickets in the Kippax and through to the North Stand and the Platt Lane, it wasn't the best. It was decrepit. It was, we can all sort of like go back and reminisce, and it was a wonderful time, but the stadium was a shithole. Let's face it, it was awful. So the Etihad now is just such a wonderful place to, if you're a parent, to take your kids and take them along to watch football in a safe environment that's policed well and has got wonderful facilities before the game, after the game. I've no other ground I've been to in the Premier League has got anything like what Manchester City offer now. Nobody. We've seen Liverpool outside Anfield with little pop-up stands with a band on, and it's garbage. It's absolute garbage compared to what you get at Manchester City. So if I had to take the two, reminiscent and memories would be Main Road, but I'll take the Etihad every day because it's a wonderful stadium. It's got everything for, not only for the home fans, but I mean, if you're an away fan and you go to the Etihad, I mean, we were there a couple of weeks ago when Newcastle fans, and they literally walked over the bridge from the Blue Car Park, right past the Somerby Bar, where all the City fans were. And they were singing and they were chanting and they were giving it loads to the City fans, and City fans were giving it loads back. And they had a police escort, but there was no trouble. I mean, it was just so well organised that it ended up from being something that could have been quite nasty in the old days of Main Road, where, I mean, I've seen people being sliced with razor blades outside, Stanley knives outside Main Road turnstiles. One match in particular where Liverpool fans slicing somebody in front of me, 5 yards in front of me as a kid. So, but it was so well controlled the other week that it turned into a bit of banter. Yeah, I mean, for me, the Etihad is a wonderful stadium. It's great for home and it's great for away fans. Yes, we all reminisce about Main Road and things, but to be fair, it was a shithole, even though the atmosphere was absolutely incredible. So, yeah, that's my answer, mate. My fourth question to Scott was, on Saturday, who do you think you're going to need to be aware of from Manchester City? And from a City point of view, who should we be cautious of from the Burnley players?
Question 4. Who do you think you need to be aware of from Man City on Saturday? And who should we be cautious of from Burnley? Good question. Well, if it's Burnley being cautious of, it's everyone pretty much. I mean, it's very difficult. I've asked the question to you guys, what's the weaknesses in the City team that Burnley could exploit? And it's very difficult to find any real weaknesses. But I think tactically, Burnley going up against a good attacking football side, and probably going on the front foot and leaving Burnley sort of not having much of the possession, that's where we get most of the results. I think one of the best games I've ever seen Burnley play, we won 2-0 against Liverpool back about, how many years ago, 8-9 years ago now. And we were tactically superb, and Liverpool on the break, 2 first-half goals. And I think that's where we're at our best. We've got our backs to the walls and we can play counter-attacking football. And so I think it might play into our hands a little bit if we can put some passes together. But yeah, I mean, God, where do you start? Aguero, Manu. I mean, where do you really start? If De Bruyne is playing, then there's going to be massive creativity. De Jesus is impressive, and I mean, there's not one City player where you can't really think, that's a weakness there. If Raheem Sterling has a bad day and misses a sitter again, like he did at the Turf last year, then maybe, you might. We're not even going to get a penalty. We're not had a penalty for about a year now, so you struggle to think where it's going to come from. But on the other side, when you're asking the question, who should we be cautious of? This is going to hopefully be a completely different Burnley side from the sides we've seen in every game up until now this season. Why? Stephen Defoe should be back and playing, and so should Brady, 2 of our most creative players who haven't played this season. They've played a couple of times in the last few weeks, midweek, seemingly back to fitness, and that throws out a different ball game for Burnley and their attacking pedigree. So I am quite optimistic about our performance, at least on Saturday. So yeah, watch out for Brady, Defoe. Goodmanson is playing great on the other wing from Brady. So yeah, it's all looking pretty good, and we've got Joe Hart in between the pegs. So great. Number 4. Oh, this is a good one. For 4 seasons in the Premier League, Burnley have beaten the reigning champions. We usually beat them at home, but most recently we've beaten them away. As a City fan, where would you rather lose? This weekend at the Etihad or in April at the Turf?
Moving on to the next question. For the 4 seasons we've been in the Premier League, we've always beaten the reigning champions. Usually at home, but mostly recently away. Would you prefer us to beat you this weekend or at Turf Moor in April? If you prefer not to answer, share your thoughts on this weekend's game and how you think it will play out. It would be good if you could answer both questions. Scott, if you've watched any of our videos, Man City Fan TV, we'll never shy away from a question. So, would I prefer you beating us at home at weekend or at Turf Moor away? Neither, if I'm honest. If I had to be objective and try and answer your question properly, I'd say let's leave it till the away game, because no, I don't want you beating us at the Etihad on Saturday. I want us to continue our approach and make sure that we're still top of the league come Monday. Second part, if you prefer not to answer, share your thoughts on this week's game. I think it'll be a tough game, and it might lead into some of your other questions. But yeah, Burnley, I was surprised you've not played that well this season. You've let in a lot of goals, but you're one of those teams under Dyche whereby you can turn up on the day and give us a real tough game. I'm expecting, looking at training this week, with the likes of Sergio Aguero, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne is back and was back last week, so he'll be into his second week of recovery and training with the City squad, so he could quite easily start. And then we've got the others. So I think with everything and the way Raheem played the other night, he had a wonderful game for England. Shut up a lot of fucking journalists who gave him crap the day before and then came out and publicly applauded him. You know, and Rashford. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Marcus Rashford. I really am, even though he plays for United. I think the way that some of the kids are treated is disgraceful. So I think Raheem will come back this weekend. He'll be full of beans. He'll be fired up. So yeah, it's going to be. I think it'll be a difficult one for you. I'd be surprised if we don't win and win comfortably. So yeah, it's going to be one of those. I guess Burnley can always pull something out, but you need to be playing a lot better than you have done, certainly so far this season. My fifth question to Scott is, tell us all about this charity event. We're really interested to know and see whether Man City fans can try and help and support you on your charity event. I know that you'll be arriving around the Etihad sometime around 1 o'clock. Thereabouts, but if you can tell us more about it, I'm sure Ray, who will be at the game, will be there to meet you and give you a bit of publicity for your cause.
Okay, fifth question. Tell us about your charity event and how Man City fans can support it. Okay, there you go. You can see that. Start this season, I wanted to raise some money for charity over the season, and I've been doing a bit of running for the last 10 years, so I dreamt up something called the Runaway Challenge, which is to run to every Burnley away game. So I combine my passions of running and football and watching Burnley away and travel into one massive crazy charity thing. And so I'm trying to raise money for to give people a sporting chance, and largely football fans who with disabilities or with mental health issues. So I'm raising money for every Premier League's charitable foundation. So in this weekend's case, 50% of money will go to BFC in the community and 50% will go to City in the community, CITC. And I will be setting off running from Turf Moor about 6:30 on Saturday morning with an aim to get to the Etihad and City Square by 1 o'clock. And it's going to be great this weekend because for the first time, I've got 5 people running with me, 2 from CITC, Jules and Mike, and I've also got 2 Burnley fans running with me from all the way from Burnley as well, and then I've got a City fan who works for BFC in the community, and the CEO, Neil Hart of BFC in the community, are going to run the last 5Ks with me into City Square. And I've done all the other runs to Southampton, to Wolves, to Cardiff and to Fulham so far this season pretty much on my own with a small support crew. So I'm very excited about it. It's a massive challenge. You've got to really love running, and winter is coming, so it's going to get tougher. So if you want to support me, you can go to the runawaychallenge.org website, and you can also go to make a donation. You can go to Just Giving page, which is the Runaway Challenge at justgiving.com. And you can also, or alternatively, send a text message donation by texting away 19 £5. So away 19 £5. Text that to 770. And hopefully I'll get quite a few City fans coming up to me and sort of recognising what I've done this weekend around City Square. Then we can have a bit of banter about the game. Okay, final question number 6. Score prediction. Well, I was going to say 2-0 to Burnley, but it's pretty impossible that City aren't going to score. And I'm an eternal optimist. I believe that football is about dreams, and in the last few years, last 10 years, Burnley and the team have made a lot of my dreams come true, so why not? Burnley to win at City, I'd give it 2-1 or 3-2. There you go. And finally, number 5, I am running, as you know probably by now, I'm running from Turf Moor to the Etihad before Saturday's game. How many steps will it take me to run from Turf Moor to the Etihad? Now, answer on the camera, Andy, but also if any City fans want to enter a competition, go to my Facebook page, which is Runaway 2018-19. We have a competition on there. You can win a signed City ball, not signed by me, but signed by all the City squad. And you enter the number of steps in the post, and the post is the one link pinned to the top. Enter the number of steps in there, and you can be taking home a signed City ball come next Monday. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the game and hope the Clarets.
And let's see, last 2. How many steps do you think it will take to run from Turf Moor to Man City on Saturday morning? Tell me on air, but please also go to my Facebook page, which is Runaway 2018-19, where you can win a signed Man City ball by entering the Runaway Challenge competition pinned to the top of the page. I hope you don't mind inserting a plug into the final question. We've got one more question to go, and that's score prediction. But God, how many steps? I mean, I've no idea how many miles it is. Shall I just quickly Google it? I always try to answer any of these questions in these vlogs live, because I hate reading them and then trying to rehearse some sort of answer. I don't think it works. So I've absolutely no idea, Scott. Let me think. How many miles is it from Burnley to Man City Stadium? Let's say 30. Okay. Let's say if you're running a mile, you might do 800, 1,000. Let's keep it easy. 1,000 steps for every mile. So 30,000. That's what I'll go for. 30,000. I'm probably well off there. Not being a runner. But I don't know. 30,000. Probably 300,000. Who knows? But anyway, I don't care, because I really hope that you do really well, and Ray will see you there when you arrive at the Etihad on Saturday, Scott. So a wonderful charity that we're right behind here at Man City Fan TV. So your final question, score prediction. I'm crap at this. I'm absolutely useless. I say it week in, week out. Though I nearly got it right the other week. I don't know. I'll say Man City 3, Burnley 0. I think defensively we're very strong. So I'd like to see a 5 or a 6-0, but I'll be conservative and I'll go Man City 3, Sergio Aguero 2, and Kevin De Bruyne plays De Bruyne, if not David Silva. So Man City 3, Burnley 0. Anyway guys, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Don't forget, subscribe, click notification, and a massive thank you to Scott. Go and check him out around the Etihad Stadium. Give him your support. If there's buckets around and you've got loose change, throw them in the bucket. I'll give Ray some money to put in the bucket for Scott's charity challenge. Great cause. So guys, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Sorry, getting a sore throat. And we'll see you soon.